Hello, friends. I'm Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope everything is good and great and wonderful. Everything here is fantastic, and I can finally tell you something that has been weighing on me for a very long time. A very, very long time. And that is, as of today, October 7th, 2020, I am officially divorced. It might come as a shock. I think some people assumed that happened years ago. It did not. It's been a very long time coming, and something that, quite honestly, we should have resolved quickly. But for those of you who don't know, things went awry in our marriage in like 2009, and we worked through all of that. And then things got sideways again in about 2012 or 2013. And by 2014, we were living completely as just roommates. She took the girls and moved out in September of 2017. So over 3 years ago, we separated. We had been living as roommates for 3 or 4 years at that point, and then she moved out. And it's taken us this long. And, you know, when our marriage got sideways in 2012, 2013, we actually started the paperwork to get divorced. We actually went through with it, the whole thing, and it was very overwhelming at that time. And we sat down to try to negotiate all of the stuff, and we really stopped and thought, like, is this what's right for the kids? While we're not a couple, we were not necessarily the kids didn't have a rough home, right? Like, we were both good parents. We both we got along. We didn't fight. We didn't do any of the things that divorcees do. So we just decided to stick through it. And, you know, until she told me that she was leaving, I was under the impression that was just going to be how it was going to be for a while, and I was okay with it. Like, I was resolved to be okay with it. I was working like 2 or 3 jobs, trying to figure out how to make our bills work, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then they left, and then it's been 3 years of just kind of limbo, and it's something that I should have attacked very early on, but the fact of the matter is I couldn't. I financially, coming up with, even just simple filing fees, I couldn't do. And it took me a very long time to get all of the bills caught up to a point that I was comfortable paying everything again. And then I, continually asked her, like, what can we please do this? And she said, well, can't do this, can't do that. Didn't have W-2s was part of the problem, which proved to be a whole mess. And so this year, finally, we both had our W-2s. We had all the paperwork we needed to be able to do this without delay, without having excuses. And I asked her, what can I do? Like, what can I do to speed this process along? And she said, go file. And I said, okay. And I thought she was going to file, but no, it was fine. And I said, so I messaged her and I said, are you okay? Is it going to bother you if I get a lawyer? Because courts terrify me. Like, the whole idea of a legal proceeding terrifies me. Very gut-wrenching anxiety. She said no. So I went and got a lawyer, and thank goodness I had a stimulus check, because, that paid for my taxes, and I had a little bit of money saved up, and I said, all right, I'll take all of my savings and pay a lawyer, and that's what I did. And then COVID hit, and then, I started with a lawyer in February, and then COVID happened, and then it wasn't until July, the end of July, before the West Virginia courts had an approved parenting class, which is a requirement for getting divorced. When you get divorced, you have to take a parenting class. And the West Virginia court system had not had an approved online parenting class. So we were kind of at a standstill because, number one, neither of us are going into public. She lives with her mom, who's definitely at risk. And number two, we couldn't get the parenting class done. So it's been a long time. It's been just a long, grueling process. And part of the reason that I hired the lawyer in the first place is because I'm a procrastinator, and I didn't want to procrastinate anymore. I just wanted it over with. I wanted to know that what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, and if something were to happen, I could appoint somebody else to be my medical, guardian or whatever. Because let's face it, I mean, she hasn't been a part of my life now for 3 years. So it's over. It's done. And truthfully, for all that story I just told you, it was a very simple process. It required us to, do some negotiations about time with the kids, do some negotiations about our personal property, do some negotiations about child support, all that sort of thing. But once we had agreed on everything, the court was like, sure, no problem. It wasn't a nightmare. It wasn't this back to court. We went to court one time and sat down in front of a judge, read off everything that we'd agreed to. That was it. That was last week, and this week we're divorced. I turned the papers in this morning at like 10 o'clock, 9:30. I turned them into my lawyer. She filed them immediately, and we got the response within like an hour or two. Within an hour or two, I was divorced. It was literally that easy. And so for all of the heartache, when you hear the stories about, oh, divorce is so hard, no, it's not. It's the couple that's making it difficult. Like, the process itself is pretty simple. As far as the court's concerned, if two, able-bodied and able-minded adults make a decision about their marriage and come to full terms on everything that they might possess or own, and they go to the judge and say, we want a divorce and these are our terms, the judge will go, okay, as long as it's within reason, So the judge, let us do that. And so I get to keep the house. I have to, I still have some loose ends to tie up there. I have to get a new deed written up. I have to get the mortgage fixed and all that sort of thing. But I get to keep the house. And, it's done. I'm officially divorced. I'm officially not part of a civil union any longer. It's a big relief, and when I talked last week about money, this is why. I got bills from the lawyer, and I still have one more lawyer to pay to get the whole deed thing done. So I'm still probably $400 or $500 short, but it'll make sense in the end, and will help me. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So, now you know what's been going on in my world, and the reason that I've been talking around in various vague ways is because I'm, was simply told not to talk about it until it was over. It's over. I can talk about it now. If you have any questions, or if you're seeking advice for your own personal separation issues, I'm here. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I will see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is contruten. It is a noun meaning an inappropriate occurrence with embarrassing results. Pan had been amongst them, the little god Pan, who presides over social contrutens and unsuccessful picnics. E.M. Forster, an English novelist. Contruten. Contretemps. I don't know how that pronunciation works.